Smile, be, chat, join for networking.
That's right, boys and girls, #1 motivational business speaker. Oh yes. And you know the reason that I'm the UK's #1 motivational business speaker? Because I said it on my website. That's the reality of it. I just made it up. If I said to you, I am the greatest, which boxer am I referring to? Muhammad Ali. The greatest boxer of all time? No, well here's the thing with Ali. He got beat twice, maybe 3 times. So was he the greatest boxer in all time? Who knows? But he told everyone he was the greatest, whether he was or whether he's not. And when you go for an interview at The Apprentice, guess what? In that waiting room, you're thinking, you know what, I'm the greatest. I'm better than every single person who is going into that interview. And when you go for an interview, whenever you've been for an interview, you're always smiling. And you're being helpful and thank you, you're at this real enhanced version of you, a really positive version of you. Well, guess what? I fucking live that every single day. That enhanced positive version. Somewhere along the way, I'm in interview mode all day long. Weird, but true. My name is Burton. I'm not only the UK's #1 motivational business speaker, I'm also managing director of 4 Networking. Well, I was until I stepped down on February the 16th, 2016, 10 years to the day of 4 Networking. Because there comes a time in everyone's life when somewhere along the way you need to be honest about yourself. And you also need to understand that the battles that we've all been in may well have taken it out of you. So here's my story. People say to me, Brad, you're lucky. You're so lucky. Look at what you've achieved. Look. When I was delivering pizzas 11 years ago, was that lucky? No. Nobody would have said, hey, that's good luck. When I got 2 bullets put through my window back in Manchester back in 1993, was that lucky? No. Was getting no qualifications throughout my schooling, was that lucky? No, bad fucking decisions. That's the reality of it, right? Was my dad leaving when I was 6 months old? Was that lucky? You know what? We've all got a story. We can all turn around and go, oh yeah, my life could be better, my life could be better. Well, guess what? Yes, your life could be better, and your life could be worse. And some of the most difficult decisions in your life are going to come down to 51%, 49%. And it's a decision that I'm going to share with you in a second. And you guys are the only people outside of my senior team that know that I'm stepping down as 4 Networking's managing director. And it's a massive decision after 10 years. When I started 4 Networking off, the whole purpose was, let me tell you the story. I was working over in Essex at a company, and I was working probably 40, 50 hours a week. And I'd sit behind after work, because this was going back 10, 11 years, I'd sit behind in the office using their internet, because there was no such thing as this wireless stuff. That's bizarre, isn't it? The wireless internet? What? You used to have things called LAN cables. Nuts. How quaint. So I used to stick around when the office was shut, using their internet, because I had no Wi-Fi in the digs that I was at, paying 300 quid a month to live in these digs. I was on about 30 grand a year, working in London for 3 days a week. And I remember I used to stick around after 6 o'clock and do what I call bleat and two veg. That's when you sit there whining about the company to the other employees who are also whining about the company, fucking shit. And I remember anyway driving home one evening after some big portion of bleat and two veg, and I went past this guy going into this house, and I was living in digs, like I say, in a spare room in a house. A guy going into a house with electric gates, and he either had a Mercedes or BMW, and he's going into this house, this posh house. Wow. I remember thinking, I could work 60, 80, 100-hour weeks at this company. I'll still never be able to afford the frigging gates. And I realised that everything that I'd been told was a myth. Work hard, you'll get yours. A job for life. Yeah, work for a pension, and at the end of it, you can retire. And no, it's a myth. So with that, I basically went into the meeting the next day with the directors, and they'd asked me to put a marketing plan together for this company. It was an £8 million company. I put this marketing plan together, and at every single point that I sort of thought of for 3 days, I sat down with the board directors, and I shared my marketing plan for this £8 million company. I did it as best as I could. And he said, daft idea, that'll never work. And we tried that back in 1993, and every single idea they threw out. And I went, you know what? Fucking shove your job up your arse. And I walked there, and then I rang the wife, and she was furious. Anyway, starts my own marketing business off, sat in my box room, underpants, waiting for the phone to ring, all that sort of stuff. And then I go so long to these networking events, and I see that it could be done better. I went into a congested market, a market that was congested. Wasn't any first mover advantage in what I did. I had no qualifications, 25 grand in debt, no idea what I was fucking doing. It's the reality. Welcome to being self-employed, because you make it up as you go along. The difference is I'm daft enough to tell people, right? I didn't tell them at the time I was making it up as we go along. But guess what, 10 years on, guess what, I'm making it all up, all this sort of stuff, I'm making it all up. So bottom line was, I went into a networking space and people said it'd never work and the likes. Fast forward 10 years, we now run over 5,000 meetings across the UK. I also decided I'm going to write a book, Get Off Your Arse. This one, Get Off Your Arse. And I remember having literary agents turning around to me and saying, you cannot possibly call a book Get Off Your Arse. Why is that? No one's going to publish that. It's an offensive title. Okay? And you're certainly not going to get stocked in Waterstones, Brad. So guess what I did? Self-published. I self-published it. I printed it, I designed a cover, I self-published it. Once again, I wouldn't take no for an answer. Because it was my time now. So prior to this point, 31-year-old, I've been really unlucky with my life. Been really unlucky. I'd sit there smoking weed at 30-year-old every day going, God, my life's shit, my life's shit. And I'd wake up the next day and guess what? My life was shit, so what would I do? Smoke some more weed, right? And smoke some more weed to get through the pain. And guess what? I went to 31 when you're smoking more weed and you go through your life dulling yourself down that actually your life's shit. And it's only when you go, you know what? Fuck all these things off, all these distractions and start doing something positive with your life when you throw the switch, in your head. Because guess what? I'm still the same dickhead that I've always been. The difference is I'm applying myself differently now. So, Get Off Your Arse. You can't possibly call a book Get Off Your Arse. The highest rated business book on Amazon, right? When people who were experienced and knew what they talking about, telling me I can't do it. Went to see the chief buyer of Waterstones and I rang him up every day for 6 weeks and eventually he picked the phone up. Hi Brad, sorry, yeah, I've been meaning to get back to you. No, we'd not. But perseverance, right? Yeah, would it be possible to come and see you? Sure, Brad, yeah, of course. Goes to see him. Best way to describe it, like Mr. Burns. Went into Waterstones, and it was like the business centre, Waterstones, big, 3D sign, everything. Went to see him, and he's like this, So, Brad, tell me why you're here. You're the chief buyer of Waterstones. I've got a book called Get Off Your Arse. What do you fucking think? Never said that, thought it. And I remember going, this is crazy. Anyway, I said, can I be honest with you? He said, sure. I said, as in really honest? He said, sure. I said, I've no fucking idea what I'm doing. And he burst out laughing. And he said, that is the best pitch I've heard in 20 years. There's a business lesson here. Blagging will get you so far. Blagging will get you so far. At some point, you either need to get professional advice or be honest that you don't know what you're doing. Anyway, it's now stocked in Waterstones and the second one and the third one, right? Once again, the establishment told me I couldn't do it. The establishment told me I couldn't start a networking event off. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was told, and if I'd have believed those people, they'd have been absolutely right. Because every step of the way I tried conforming, I tried being something I wasn't to succeed in life. I tried conforming in corporate to play to their rule book rather than this rule book, which is tattoos, shaved head, trainers, jeans and t-shirt. I was told that I needed to wear a three-piece suit and a pocket watch to be taken seriously as a business person. So, not only have I got lucky with the Factor 4 networking, not only have I got lucky with my books, I also got lucky with, what's the other thing? That's right, professional speaker. I get paid lots and lots of money to go and speaking at events like JCB, Sage, the business show. The business show, that's me with the managing director of the business show. Name dropping for you there, Nick Moss, good friend of mine. But the point is, every step of the way, I've been told that I couldn't do it. Every step of the way, I needed to wear a three-piece suit and a pocket watch to be considered professional. You know what professional is? I invoice, I get paid. Professional. Don't worry about it. Don't let people put you in their box. You be you. That's one of the best things I can give you as a tip. Be you. You know, and any time you ever make a decision in business, you're going to come away with three things. Assets, cash, or experience. Think about that. Every time you ever go into a business environment, you go away to the apprentice, Richard, yeah, asset, cash, or experience. And what you came away with is assets. You've got videos, people know you've got an amazing reputation. Cash, you never made any money out of the show, but what you did do is made money through people seeing him and likes. Now he's got his book out there. What's it called? Digital Trail. Is it available at all good bookstores? It certainly is. Boom, there you go. Yeah, shut up. Right, see, he can't stop himself. He can't help himself. Richard Woods from The Apprentice, boys and girls. Do look at his 4 Networking TV episode. Or you come away with experience, but you never come away empty-handed. Because experience prepares you for the next time when you've got shit coming your way. So here's the thing. I said before, I'm managing director for Networking. And up until February the 16th, 2016, I am the managing director of 4 Networking. But in 15 days' time, I'm no longer the managing director for Networking. And I've got to make a brave move for me to be really honest about that. In the last year, I've had director who's just walked that way, Jason Dutton, who's got a heavyweight corporate background, marketing director, Hasbro and the likes, to take over the day-to-day of phone networking and to see whether or not phone networking would survive without me handling the day-to-day. And the news is devastating, I'll be honest with you.
For you.
Listen, listen, if you think you're laughing now, wait until you hear this. The company is 21% up without me. Don't. I'm wounded. And I've got to be honest, this has been in some respects like a political party, this. You know, I've got to be honest about this and actually say, it's time for this leader to step aside and know my place, that actually if I truly love this organisation, I will do the right thing for this organisation. Jay couldn't have started this organisation off. He couldn't have put up with the fights that I've had. You know, I've really had to tough it out over the last 10 years. I had a nervous breakdown 3 years ago. And just to make it quite clear what a nervous breakdown means, I was 45 minutes going the wrong way on a motorway and didn't realise I was there. I was on autopilot because the pressure of work, business, personal decisions had sort of caught up with me. If I go to the gym and I go and lift a weight and it's too heavy, strain, God, if I go and push my legs and wait, your brain is a muscle. Your brain is the muscle. When was the last time you went to a mind gym? When was the last time you thought, ooh, I'm reaching capacity? Never. You just keep going. You power yourself with Red Bull, right? You eat full English breakfast. You end up with type 2 diabetes. Powering myself forward, Ginster's pasties. You know, don't worry, I got skincare by Greg's back in the day. It was great, it filled all your gaps. But I now have a long-term problem in the form of type 2 diabetes. That chocolate didn't help, I'll be honest with you, Joe. Okay, good chocolate, by the way. Grant, you're a big lad. Check the chocolate out, trust me. Right? But here's the thing, I have type 2 diabetes that I've now got to live with for the rest of my life based on short-term solutions. So it powered me forward when I was doing 40,000 miles a year. Those battles of 3 or 4 years ago, phone networking was one day away from going kaput. This conversation here is me at the business show, I can't remember what it was, November 11, I think, and Terry Cooper, the chairman of phone networking. I was gone. I was mentally gone. I was exacerbated. I was getting whacked from all sorts of places. And as a political party, if you make a mistake in your business, you and your client know about it. In this organisation, everyone knows about it. And all my rivals thought, guess they saw a weakness. And I was 10-minute call away from calling this organisation finished. 2011, I was gone. This picture was captured by phone networking member John Jacobs that just happened to be filming me at the show or whatever it was. And he just happened to capture that shot. The most significant photograph, because I promise you now, this man here, Terry Cooper, chairman of phone networking. You know, this is the guy who came as a member. He came through the door as a member. This wasn't somewhere I got from a chairman school, right? He came as a member and I met him from phone networking and me and him hit it off from day one. If he would have said, Brad, you're right, call it a day, phone networking would not be, there'd be no phone networking TV, there'd be no... Boom. So you're going to have times when you're tested. You're going to have times when you're tested. And you're going to have times when you're tested when you've run out of ideas and you're going to need your Terry Cooper because blagging will get you so far. And if you're going through trouble mentally or whatever, emotionally, we found it today, that this network is super supportive. It transcends business. It transcends business, and it was always intended to do. Because when I started off, I came from Salford, Manchester, or that arcade proper, right? Living in Somerset, I knew nobody. And I remember going down Western Supermare High Street, kicking a can, and nobody to kick the can back to me. All my friends had gone, everything had gone, I was on my own. I needed phone networking, just like every single person needed. I needed appointments, I needed friends. Because when you start getting older, your friends start dying, you start emigrating, you start getting married, you don't have any. But what you've got with phone networking is your pool of friends continues. So 10 years to the day on the nose, and I'd appreciate if everyone kept it under the hat. By all means tell people, but don't go on social media about it until 16th. And people say, what are you going to do next? You know, I've got Brad Campson writing books, great. But you know something? This has took it out of me, this whole, and a balance sheet doesn't tell a full story. A balance sheet doesn't tell a full story. None of our balance sheets tell a full story. They don't see the personal price of a business. And all people see is these meetings and the likes. That took it out of me as a man. All of a sudden, I'd had one too many fights. And the warhorse and this fight that I had, this thing, no longer there. I've got no more fights in me anymore. I've not got any fights in me. I don't need it anymore. And over the last 10 years, I've spent the last 10 years being the father of this organisation at the detriment of my own children. So for the next 10 years, I need to look after Ben, who's 12 at the moment, Brandon, who's 7, and Bonnie, who's 18 months. I need to focus on being the father for them. One of the things that I realised, I read last year about the CEO of American Express on a private jet flying over to America from one meeting to the next meeting, and he had a heart attack on that plane, leaving 2 children and a wife and a multi-million-pound house. The question I ask every single one of you is this: how much is enough? Because if you don't have a limit to where you're aiming for, you just keep going and going and going. And I got out of the hamster wheel of employment 10 years ago. And then fast forward 7 years, I'm in the hamster wheel of self-employment, making myself ill. Anyone ever played pontoon? Blackjack, supposed to get 21. King and an ace, and that's what success is. Lord Sugar has achieved so much. Peter Jones getting out of his Learjet, rushing over to have a game of tennis with Richard Branson, yes, before going to his place over the Maldives and looking at an infinity pool, wearing his £2,500. What a load of shit. What a load of shit. Because that's what we've been told the dream is. The commercial dream is flamboyance, is wonderful. Oh look, me and Tiny Temper are going to a book launch. They're fucking shit. Let me tell you something, people. We all strive for this nonsense, and actually the very thing that you should be striving for is peace of mind, is happiness. Because I tell you something right now, 3 years ago at the height of this, I was making loads of money, fucking loads of money, more money than I could sensibly spend. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy I was, a 1 or a 2, I was broken. You fast forward 3 years, I'm making less money, I'm happy. And this is what I'd say. Going back to the pontoon, the blackjack. King and an ace, that's what everyone's chasing for. Lord Sugar's got it. The Dragon's Den, I've got it. You know, I've got an 18 or a 19, and I'm sticking. Right? I want for nothing more. I'm not prepared to keep gambling and twisting and unravelling and losing my family and losing my mental health. You know something? Here's the thing. Chase happiness, not money. I promise you, chase happiness. I've got friends of mine with money, more money than, honestly, it's embarrassing the amount of money. When they've got £3,000 gold taps, that's how fucking embarrassing we're talking. And I remember saying to him, I said, oh, those taps, I don't like them. He said they're £3,000 each. I went, no, you can get platinum ones. Where does it fucking end? Where does it end? You know, I see people do this. Here's the thing. You know, I'm stepping down as Phone Networking Managing Director, and it's absolutely the right thing, not only for this organisation, not only for me, but also boys and girls. Your new Managing Director, Jason Dutton, come here. Come here, come here. You right? This man. Go away, go away. Brilliant. That's right. How good was that? I'm timing. Brilliant. So, smart operator. So, you know what? I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to be as a founder of Phone Networking. I'm still going to be as accessible and as fucking nutty as I always am. Here's the thing. The final line I'm going to leave with is this. You know that stuff that's going on in your head right now, right? I want you to think for a second about you being an air traffic controller, okay? Air traffic controller in your tower there. You have these planes flying around, your worries, your fears. And then another one turns up, and it's your worry and your fear. At some fucking point, you're going to have to land these things, get them out off the radar, right? And this is what I did. This is what I've done over the last 3 years. Since that point when I mentally unravelled, right? I mean, you know, we're talking 1% more, and I would have been in a nut house. That's, you know, that's the reality of it. And what I've done in that time over the last 3 years is I've landed all the planes, all my problems, whether it's things like getting my nails done, Trevor's here later, things, all these small things that I've just ignored and done nothing about it. I've just kept them on. I've cleared my path. And now, 10 years on, having built Phone Networking, it's time for me to focus on my family. But the last line is this. If you are waiting for a sign, whether to make the changes in your life, in your business, that you know deep down you need to do so you can avoid this situation. If you're waiting for a sign, this, boys and girls, is it. Thank you very much.
Smile, be chat, join Phone Networking.